Real Estate A1 TV Executive Producer, Director, Author, Chief Editor Dr. Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters are thankful to the viewers. Today's topic is Real Estate Glossary of Terms and Jargons. Buying a home can be exciting. It can also be somewhat daunting, even if you've done it before. You will deal with mortgage options, credit reports, loan applications, contracts, points, appraisals, change orders, inspections, warranties, walkthrough, settlement sheets, escrow accounts, recording fees, insurance, taxes, the list goes on. No doubt, you will hear and see words and terms you've never heard before. Just what do they all mean? The Federal Trade Commission, the agency that promotes competition and protects consumers, has prepared this glossary to help you better understand the terms commonly used in the real estate and mortgage marketplace. Real estate is a jargon-heavy industry and can be difficult to navigate if you're a new agent or hasn't brushed up on your terminology in a while. Whether you're buying or selling a home, real estate expert Kashif Sohail created this resource to help you learn the vocabulary. Kashif has compiled an ever-growing list of real estate terms you should know to help you better understand the process and plan your move. Kashif Sohail has pulled together a comprehensive dictionary of real estate terms and definitions. From the obscure to the obvious, your clients will find all the information they need below. And you might even find it helpful as you brush up on a term or two. Is there a difference between a real estate agent and a real estate broker? Why does real estate vocabulary use so many confusing acronyms? If the world of real estate terms has you scratching your head, don't worry. Kashif Sohail created this helpful guide of the top terms to know. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or an agent looking to brush up on your knowledge, you'll find what you need to know here. The following are the real estate terms we'll explain.
Elevation. Artist's impression of the final look of a project. Encumbrance certificate. A report issued by registrar or sub-registrar's office after due verification of the relevant documents certifying that the property in question is free from mortgages, leases, easements or any other kinds of restrictions. Executor. A person named in a will to care for an estate. Early intervention requirements. Pertains to foreclosure avoidance and loss mitigation, with a focus on the period soon after the borrower becomes delinquent. Eminent domain. The government retains the right to take private property and convert it for public use if it compensates the owner fairly. This right is known as eminent domain.
Real Estate A1 TV Executive Producer, Director, Author, Chief Editor, Real Estate Professional, Multidimensional, and Multifaceted Artist, Dr. Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ECOA. This act prevents creditors from discriminating against applicants because of their age, race, religion, sex, marital status, receipt of public assistance, exercising rights under the Consumer Credit Protection Act. Estoppel. Agency situation in which one party incorrectly states that another person is the agent, and a third person relies on that representation. Equity. It is the actual amount of an asset actually owned by you. Equity is the percentage of a home that a buyer actually owns. Until the mortgage is paid off in full, the lending institution has a stake in the property.
Real Estate A1 TV Executive Producer, Director, Author, Chief Editor Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Escrow. Escrow is a legal arrangement where a third party holds large funds until the terms of an agreement are met. In real estate, you'll set up an escrow account to hold funds for taxes or insurance throughout the life of your mortgage. It is an arrangement in which a neutral third-party provider holds the funds associated with a real estate transaction until a specific condition is met. Exclusive listing. An exclusive listing occurs when a seller contractually agrees to work with only one broker. In contrast, an open listing means the seller may allow multiple brokers to list the home for sale and offer representation. Equity, a measure calculated by taking the market value of a property and deducting the amount still owed on the mortgage, if any. Exclusive right to sell agreement, a listing agreement where a property owner must pay commission to a real estate agent no matter who finds the buyer.
Real Estate A1 TV Executive Producer, Director, Author, Chief Editor, Real Estate Professional, Multidimensional and Multifaceted Artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Exclusive agency agreement, a listing agreement between a property owner and a real estate agent where commission is paid if the agent finds a buyer. The owner is not responsible for paying commission if they find a buyer themselves. Easement, a right to the use of, or access to, land owned by another. Employer-assisted housing, a program in which companies assist their employees in purchasing homes by providing assistance with the down payment, closing costs, or monthly payments.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Encumbrance, any claim on a property, such as a lien, mortgage or easement. Liens, such as mortgage, tax or judgment lien, easement, restriction on use of the land or outstanding right, which may diminish the value of the property.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ECOA. A federal law that requires lenders to make credit equally available without regard to the applicant's race, color, religion, national origin, age, sex, or marital status, the fact that all or part of the applicant's income is derived from a public assistance program, or the fact that the applicant has in good faith exercised any right under the Consumer Credit Protection Act. It also requires various notices to consumers. Equity, the value in your home above the total amount of the liens against your home. If you owe $100,000 on your house, but it is worth $130,000, you have $30,000 of equity.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Escrow, an item of value, money, or documents deposited with a third party to be delivered upon the fulfillment of a condition. For example, the deposit by a borrower with the lender of funds to pay taxes and insurance premiums when they become due, or the deposit of funds or documents with an attorney or escrow agent to be disbursed upon the closing of a sale of real estate. Escrow account, an account that a mortgage servicer establishes on behalf of a borrower to pay taxes, insurance premiums, or other charges when they are due. Sometimes referred to as an impound or reserve account. Escrow analysis, the accounting that a mortgage servicer performs to determine the appropriate balances for the escrow account, compute the borrower's monthly escrow payments, and determine whether shortages, surpluses or deficiencies exist in the account. Eviction, the legal act of removing someone from real property. Exclusive right to sell listing, the traditional kind of listing agreement under which the property owner appoints a real estate broker, known as the listing broker, as exclusive agent to sell the property on the owner's stated terms, and agrees to pay the listing broker a commission when the property is sold, regardless of whether the buyer is found by the broker, the owner or another broker. This is the type of listing agreement commonly used by a listing broker to provide the traditional full range of real estate brokerage services. If a second real estate broker, known as a selling broker, finds the buyer for the property, then some commission will be paid to the selling broker.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Exclusive agency listing, a listing agreement under which a real estate broker, known as the listing broker, acts as an exclusive agent to sell the property for the property owner, but may be paid a reduced or no commission when the property is sold if, for example, the property owner rather than the listing broker finds the buyer. This type of listing agreement can be used to provide the owner with a limited range of real estate brokerage services, rather than the traditional full range. As with other types of listing agreements, if a second real estate broker, known as a selling broker, finds the buyer for the property, then some commission will be paid to the selling broker. Executor, a person named in a will and approved by a probate court to administer the deposition of an estate in accordance with the instructions of the will.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Easement. An easement is a right held by one person to use the land of another for a specific purpose, such as driving through someone else's property. Easement for ingress and egress. An easement used for entering and exiting a property. Egress. The right to exit a property. Escrow holder. The escrow holder is the agent and depositary, as an impartial or neutral third party, having and holding possession of money, written instruments, documents, personal property, or other things of value to be held until the happening of specified events or the performance of described conditions. Economic obsolescence. refers to the loss of property value due to external factors, meaning things off the property affect the property's value. Emblements. Emblements are annual crops produced by cultivation legally belonging to the tenant with the implied right for its harvest, and they are treated as the tenant's property.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor Dr. Kashif Sohail, and our entire team of hundreds of presenters are thankful to the viewers.
Eminent domain. The right of the government to take over privately owned real estate for public use. Encroachment. Encroachment is intrusion on a person's territory or property. Encumbrance. Encumbrance means an involuntary lien is on the property. Endorsement. Signing paperwork is normally a contract. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is the federal agency responsible for dealing with environmental issues. The EPA was established in December 1970 by an executive order of United States President Richard Nixon.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor Kashif Sohail, and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ECOA. A regulation that aims to give all legal individuals equal opportunity to apply for loans. The act prohibits creditors and lenders from considering a consumer's race, color, national origin, sex, religion or marital status in deciding whether to approve their credit application. Equitable title. The interest held by one party to purchase property before closing. Equity. Equity is the difference between the market value of your home and the amount you owe the lender who holds the mortgage. The value of property, less any liens against the property.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Erosion. The opposite of accretion, erosion is the wearing away of land or soil by the action of wind, water, currents, or ice. Long-term erosion can decrease the size of a property. Errors and omissions insurance. Some, but not all states, require this form of insurance. It is a type of liability insurance that protects professionals against claims of inadequate work or negligent actions. Escheat. When a property owner dies and leaves no proper documented inheritance plan, the property ownership reverts to the government. Escheat ensures that property always has ownership. Escrow. Escrow is a way for money and property to be transferred from one party to another through the use of a neutral, third-party agent, also known as an escrow agent. Escrow makes it safer for both buyers and sellers to close the sale without worrying about getting snubbed or cheated. A real estate closing in which all money and documents are held by a third party pending compliance with all terms and conditions of the contract.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Estate at sufferance. An estate in sufferance arises when the tenant holds over after the expiration of their term. Estate at will. An estate at will means it can be ended at any time. The term of this estate is indefinite. It's also important to note that not all states recognize an estate at will, and ones that vary in laws. Exchange. Transfer of goods or services. Exclusive right to sell listing. One broker is appointed the sole agent of the seller and has exclusive authorization to represent the property. The broker receives a commission no matter who sells the property while the listing agreement is in effect. Executed contract. A completed contract. Express contract. An express contract occurs when both parties legally establish an agency relationship. In other words, they sat down and wrote a contract stating their relationship. This is the most common method of creation for agency relationships. Effective demand. In appraisal, if there is a need or demand for a certain type of property. Effective gross income. In income properties, the actual rent received, not the potential gross income.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional Kashif Sohail, and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate. Let's continue.
Implements. Personal property growing in the soil, requiring planting and cultivation, annual crops, etc. These are also called fructus industrials. Entitlement. The method VA uses to determine a veteran's eligibility. Equal Opportunity Act. This is a credit discrimination law, which states that no discrimination in lending is allowed because of race, color, national origin, sex, age, religion, marital status, or source of income. Equally desirable. In appraisal, It means there is similar workmanship, size, lot size, location, amenities.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate. Let's continue.
Earnest money is a deposit, usually 1 to 2% of the home's total purchase price, made by a home buyer at the time they enter into a contract with a seller. Earnest money demonstrates the buyer's interest in the property, and is generally deducted from your total down payment and closing costs. Escheat. When a property owner dies without a will and no heirs are found, property reverts to the state. Sufferance. When a tenant has overstayed, any legal right to possession and eviction is imminent. This is considered an estate at sufferance. This is not trespass.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Estate at will. If there is no definite expiration date, and a leasehold will expire upon notice given by either party, the death of either party, or some specific occurrence stated in the agreement, this is considered an estate at will. This is not inheritable. Estate for years. There is a definite starting and termination date stated in the lease. This is known as an estate for years. This can be any period of time, days, weeks, months, years, etc. Eviction. The legal and physical removal of a tenant's right to possession based on some breach of the lease. Exceptions. Disclosures of existing encumbrances.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Exclusive agency listing. A listing agreement where the owner appoints a real estate broker as his or her exclusive agent to sell a property, but reserves the right to sell on his or her own to a buyer not produced by a broker. It's a listing agreement where the owner appoints a real estate broker as his or her exclusive agent to sell property, and will pay the broker a commission regardless of who sells the property. Executed contract. If everything in a contract has been fully completed, all terms and conditions have been met.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Executory contract. If everything in a contract has not been fully completed. Exclusive listing. An exclusive listing is an agreement between a seller and a specific real estate agent, where the agent earns commission by finding a buyer in the agreed-upon period. This is opposed to an open listing, where agents compete to find the best buyer with no guarantee of earning commission. Earnest money deposit, EMD. An earnest money deposit, EMD, sometimes referred to as a good faith deposit, is the initial funds that a buyer is asked to put down once a seller accepts the buyer's offer. It shows not only that the buyer is serious about buying, but also that they are willing to put their money where their mouth is. The amount of the EMD can vary between 1 to 5% of the sales price. An escrow company often holds the EMD, or is otherwise provided under the purchase and sale agreement.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Escrow holder. The escrow holder is the agent and depositary, impartial third party, who collects the money, written instruments, documents, personal property, or other things of value to be held until the happening of specified events or the performance of described conditions, usually set forth in mutual, written instructions from the parties. Equity. This is the investment a homeowner has in their home. To calculate equity, take the market value of the home and subtract any mortgages or liens against the property. The amount left over is the amount of equity you have in the home. If you buy a home worth $250,000 for $240,000, you gain what is known as instant equity, because there is a $10,000 difference between the value and the cost. When you sell a home you bought for $250,000 for $260,000, you'll get to keep the equity in the home after the close, once all the expenses are paid. It's important to build equity, as homeowners can leverage this financial asset to obtain loans to help finance items such as home repairs, or to pay off higher interest debt. Home equity is the part of your property you actually own. While you own your home, Your mortgage lender has interest in the property until it's paid off. To calculate your home's equity, subtract your outstanding loan balance from the current market value of your property. Home equity will increase as you pay down your loan or the market value of your home increases.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate expert, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail, and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Eminent domain. The right of eminent domain gives the government the ability to use private property for public purposes. It's only exercisable when and if the government fairly compensates the owner of the property. Encroachment. When a property owner violates the rights of a neighbor by building or adding a structure that extends onto a neighbor's land or property line, that is called encroachment. Encumbrance. A real estate encumbrance is any claim against a property that restricts its use or transfer, including an easement or property tax lien. Equal Credit Opportunity Act. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ECOA, was enacted on October 28, 1974, and rules it unlawful for creditors to discriminate against applications because of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, or because they receive public assistance.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Escrow. Escrow is part of the home buying process. It happens when a third party holds something of value during the transaction. Most often, the value the third party holds onto is the buyer's earnest money check. When the transaction is complete, usually at closing, the third party will release those funds to the seller. Examination of title. A title examination reviews all public records tied to a property. It generally reviews all previous deeds, wills, and trusts to ensure the title has passed cleanly and legally to every new owner. Exclusive listing. An exclusive listing is used to motivate an agent to sell a property quickly, within a specific number of months. If they meet that goal, the agent gains a commission regardless of how a buyer is found. Earnest money. A deposit made by the buyer is evidence of good faith in offering to purchase real estate and to secure performance of the contract. Earnest money is typically held by a title company in an escrow account during the period between acceptance of the contract and closing.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate expert, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Earnest money contract, EMC. A contract for the sale or purchase of real estate in which the purchaser is required to tender earnest money to prove good faith in completing the contractual obligations. Easement by prescription. A right to use property, acquired by a long tradition of open and obvious use. For example, if hikers have used a trail through your backyard for 10 years and have never complained, they probably have an easement by prescription through your yard to the trail. Economic obsolescence. Loss of value of real property due to external forces or events, for example, a sewer plant is built next door to the subject property. Contrast with functional obsolescence. Effective interest rate. The monthly cost of credit is expressed as a percentage, includes upfront costs paid to obtain the loan, and is therefore usually a higher amount than the interest rate stipulated in the mortgage note. Useful in comparing loan programs with different rates and points.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Egress. An exit, or the act of exiting. Implements. Annual crops produced by cultivation. They are considered personal property. Eminent domain. The right of government to take private property for public use, through court action known as condemnation. The Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution allows the government to take private property if the taking is for public use, and the owner is justly compensated, usually, paid fair market value, for his or her loss. A public use is virtually anything sanctioned by a federal or state legislative body, but such uses may include roads, parks, reservoirs, schools, hospitals or other public buildings. Sometimes called expropriation.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate expert, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Dr. Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Enclave community. Smaller in scope than master-planned communities, enclave communities typically blend different price ranges of residential neighborhoods with amenities such as public recreation areas and parks, neighborhood schools and extensive landscaping. Recreation areas may include public swimming pools, tennis courts, and children's playgrounds. Many offer large water features and gated access.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate expert, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Dr. Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Encroachment. A fixture, or structure, such as a wall or fence, which invades a portion of a property belonging to another. Solutions range from paying the rightful property owner for the use of the property to the court-ordered removal of the structure. Encumbrance. A cloud against clear, free title to the property, which does not prevent conveyance, such as unpaid taxes, easements, deed restrictions, mortgage loans, etc. Endorsement. Writing one's name, either with or without additional words, on a negotiable instrument, or on a paper attached to it.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate expert, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Kashif Sohail, and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate everyone about real estate.
Equal Credit Opportunity Act. The 1974 federal law, Title VII of the Consumer Credit Protection Act, which requires fairness and impartiality without discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, sex or marital status, or receipt of income from public assistance programs and the extension of credit, and good faith exercises any right under the Consumer Credit Protection Act. For example, the creditor must state reasons for denial of credit. Equal treatment or different impact. It is possible to be guilty of discrimination even by treating two individuals the same. If the results of the treatment are discriminatory, or tend to exclude or otherwise harm members of a minority group, or have a discriminatory impact, they are against the law. For example, an apartment house which rents only to doctors and lawyers, where there are few, if any, minority doctors or lawyers in the area, may be a violation of the fair housing laws. Equity. The difference in dollars between a house's value and the mortgage amount. Escalator clause. The clause in a contract permits adjustments of the payments. Escheat. The reversion of property to the state if the owner thereof dies without leaving a will, intestate, and has no heirs to whom the property may pass by lawful descent. Escrow. A trust arrangement by which none or more parties deposit things of value with an authorized escrow agent in accordance with the terms of a real estate agreement. Escrow account. 1. A third-party account that holds money safely while a sale is in progress. 2. An account used to save monies required for the payment of an eventual debt. Often used by lenders to save for property taxes, hazard insurance, homeowners' dues, etc. Estimate of value. An appraisal, the appraised value. Eviction. Removal of a tenant from rental property by a law enforcement officer. Exception. As used in the conveyance of real estate, an exception is the exclusion of some part of the property conveyed, with title of that accepted part remaining with the grantor. Exclusive agency, e.a. a listing agreement which gives the listing agent the right to sell the property for a specified time. The owner reserves the right to sell the property himself, without paying a commission to the agent. Brokers risk investing their time, effort, and money in a listing that, even if sold through their marketing efforts, does not produce a commission. Contrast with exclusive right to sell. Exclusive right to sell, ERS. A listing agreement which gives the listing agent the right to sell the property for a specified time, with the right to collect a commission if anyone sells the property, including the owner, during the listing period. Contrast with exclusive agency. Exculpatory clause. A provision in a lease that absolves the landlord of responsibility for all damages, injuries or losses occurring on the property, including those caused by the landlord's actions. Most states have laws that void exculpatory clauses in rental agreements, which means a court will not enforce them. Executor or executrix. The man or woman appointed in a will to carry out the requests of the will. Contrast with administrator or administratrix. Expropriation. See eminent domain. Early intervention requirements. Pertains to foreclosure and loss mitigation with a focus on the period soon after a borrower becomes delinquent. Easement by necessity. Granted by law when there's no access to a person's land. Easement by prescription. Acquired by open, notorious, continuous, hostile and adverse use of the property for a period of time prescribed by the state law. Easement and grows. An easement right given to enter someone's land for a specific purpose. Enabling legislation. Laws passed by some states giving local governments the authority to establish local laws. Equalizer. Adjusts property assessments so that they're equitable throughout a state.
Real Estate A1 TV executive producer, director, author, chief editor, real estate professional, multidimensional and multifaceted artist Dr. Kashif Sohail and our entire team of hundreds of presenters want to educate you about real estate.
Estimated closing costs. An estimate of expenses incidental to the sale of real estate, including loan, title, and appraisal fees. These costs are in addition to the price of the property, and are prepaid at closing. Some are one-time expenses and some are recurring.